Once we've made our way through the design workshop process and we've settled on what we think is a preferred solution, the next thing we'll do is we'll start building a prototype model. And in this prototype model, what we'll be looking at is making sure that we've understood things correctly, that we're going to achieve our goals and objectives. This is basically validating the ideas and the concepts we've developed during the design workshop. So again, we'll look at massing, we'll look at general spatial organization, and just start studying things at a little bit more detailed level. Obviously different angles and different views. From a sustainability standpoint, we'll start looking at what are the behavior patterns of the shadows on the facility, not only throughout the day but also from season to season, to make sure that we're providing proper coverage and protection for the passengers while they're waiting buses, as well as when they're moving through the site. And we'll also start studying things like sight lines. When you're standing in a particular location on the site, what can you see, what can you not see? How well can you see through buildings? We want to make sure that we use a lot of glazing in the public spaces to make sure that people have good transparency, that they can see out, see their way to the buses, as well as from a security standpoint. The security staff can see into the public spaces and make sure nothing's going on which shouldn't be going on. Additionally, we'll look at a few other views. This would be basically looking at the approach shot. So what are you seeing as you're moving up one of the streets? What's the scale of the facility? How is it addressing the street? How is it addressing the other context around the neighborhoods? And again, we'll go in and we'll take a look at the room schedule, identify the spaces and how they're organized, and then look at these in terms of now an organization of different spaces. So here we're beginning to lay out an actual building, and these different colors represent the different types of spaces, the different departments, retail spaces versus public spaces, versus back of house, public restrooms, employee restrooms. We're also looking at how are the canopy structures organizing themselves. These sawtooth edges here, these are the bus bays. And now we're looking at where the buses are docking versus where are the canopy structures. Where are some opportunities for some retail cart locations? What are the points of access in and out of the building? And how do you move through the site? Different things like that. Again, this is the south building. Again, public spaces, private spaces, and back of house. Also some staff spaces for the transit agency to run and conduct their operations. And additionally, we'll begin to study materials. What are the finishes, and what's the relationship of the finishes to the adjacent community? Again, we discussed very early on the idea that we may want to pull in some of the precedent, some of the existing context of the community into the site, and maybe use materials that are present in the area, but use them in possibly a more contemporary way, or some way that's going to be a little more forward-looking. Additionally, we'll be looking at the integration of retail opportunities. As we mentioned, some of these spaces within the building are tagged to be future retail developments. You'll also notice in the layout of this north island that the building only goes partially across the north island. There's this area here which is currently identified as a bit of a grove or something, just with some trees to provide some shade. But the idea is in the future, if the opportunity is there for the agency to team up with the developer, that this portion of the site could be constructed as a building, and it could be a multi-story building. It could be an opportunity, again, for a retail and for revenue generation for the transit agency for another structure.